In this video, we'll create an HTML and CSS drop-down menu using Bootstrap 4. So when we select the Services tab here, you'll see that we get two different drop-down links beneath it, and similarly, we have two drop-down links underneath the Services tab here on the mobile version, which pushes the next list item or link down a little bit. So we'll find that when we flex the navigation menu down at 768 pixels, it's going to change to the mobile version, and later in the tutorial I'll show you how you can change the width from when it goes from the full width version to the mobile version. So in the description of this video will be the starter file if you want to follow along, as well as the finished version of the drop-down menu. I'll be using the free program Sublime Text as my text editor throughout the tutorial, and I'm also going to have it open in Google Chrome as we develop the navigation in Sublime Text. So let me go ahead and put the starter file away, and let's take a look at Sublime Text to see what's already included for us. So from the top we have doctype HTML, and then inside of our head section we have our title, and then our Bootstrap CSS file with Bootstrap 4, the latest version of jQuery. Then we have Popper.js, which is recommended for Bootstrap, followed by the Bootstrap 4 JS file here. Okay, so let's go down to the body section, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm connected to Google Chrome here for the version that we'll be working on, which I am, as you can see. And let's go ahead and start our navigation HTML off with the actual navigation bar itself with the dark blue background that we're seeing. So we'll use the HTML5 tag called nav to start us off, and we're going to give it a class. So we'll say nav class navbar space navbar dash expand MD for medium, and then we'll do the default dark Bootstrap navigation, which is navbar dark and BG dark. So as we move on, we'll find out what the MD means there with medium, but for now we have our navigation bar, and I'll show you how you can change it to small screens. So let's move on to our navigation brand or logo. So we'll say a class navbar dash brand, and then href, and I'm just going to leave the link blank here with the hashtag, and then we'll write Bootstrap, as you can see in the upper left, or you can put the image in, the image source for your logo. So there we have our Bootstrap text as our logo, and let's move on to our drop down button next that we see right here. So underneath our A tag, we'll use the button tag, and we're going to give it a class called navbar-toggler, because it's our toggle button, and then we'll say type button, and data-toggle equals collapse, and then we'll add a data target here for our ID that will give our unordered list. So we'll just call it navbar supported content with a capital S and a capital C, and make sure you have the hashtag for the ID at the beginning of it. Okay, so now if we take a look at it, we have the start to our collapsing navigation drop-down button, but we don't have the icon inside of it. So we'll add a span class here, and we'll call it navbar dash toggler dash icon, and that will add our hamburger icon that we see here. Okay, so if we expand, we don't have any unordered list yet, so let's go ahead and add our unordered list next. So we'll want to wrap that with a collapse class here. So we'll say div class collapse navbar dash collapse, and then we'll add the ID that our toggle button is targeting. So ID navbar supported content with the capital S and capital C. Then we can close out our div and start our UL unordered list. We're going to give it a class called navbar-nav, and then ML auto, which we'll learn about in just just a moment once we add our list items. So then we can close out our unordered list, and let's start our first list item for the home link here. So we'll say li class nav-item, and for our first one with Bootstrap we always want to make it active. And then we can create some space in between our list item and add our link. So we'll say a class nav-link. And again, I'm going to leave the link blank with a hashtag. You can do index.html, for example, if you want to link to your home page. So if we expand, there we have our first navigation link. So with ML Auto, if we change it to MD Auto, it's going to go all the way off to the left. Or we could use MX Auto to center our unordered list. And as you saw, ML Auto will push it off to the right. Then we have the expand option here. So SM will make the navigation turn into its mobile nav at 576 pixels, or you can use MD, which will expand it to the full width version at 768 pixels. So let's move down to our links that follow the home link here. So I'm just going to copy this list item and paste it beneath, and we'll take out the active class here, and let's change it to about. This one without the active class and paste it and change it to location. And next, for our services list item here, we'll want to add a drop-down class to our list item. So we'll say li class nav-item and then drop-down, and then we can close out our list item. And inside of it, we'll create a button. So we'll say a class nav-link drop-down-toggle, and then we can add our link here. So href, I'm going to leave it blank, and then we'll give it an ID called navbar drop-down with a capital D in drop, and then role. We'll need to give it a role that we'll just call button. Data toggle drop down. Okay, so then we can add our services text and close out our link. And underneath that, we'll need to add our class for the drop down menu. So div class drop down menu dash. Drop-down dash menu rather, and then area dash labeled by, and we'll reference the ID that we created above. So navbar drop-down with a capital D. And then we can add our first drop-down menu item inside of the div, which is photography. So we'll say a class drop-down dash item, and then href, and then in between our a tags we'll just write photography and close out the tag. Okay, so now if we refresh, there we have our first drop down link, and here we have it for the full width version. Pushing off to the side a little bit though. So with the original version, you'll notice there's a line in between our links here. So we'll want to add a div class for that line. So we'll say div class drop-down dash divider. And then we can close out the div and add our second link where it says view our portfolio. Okay, so a class drop-down dash item, and then href, and then view our portfolio is our second drop-down item added, which is right here. Okay, so then lastly, we just have the contact us link. So let's go ahead and add that. I'll just copy the location list item here and paste it in and change it to contact us. Okay, so now if we go and refresh, we have all of our list items, including the 2 drop-down items. Okay, so that does it. I want to thank you for sticking around with me through this tutorial. Please remember to like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Then I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.